Are you tired of staring at a blank page, unsure of what to write about? Are you struggling to come up with new ideas for your blog? Well, look no further. You've come to the right video. With ChatGPT, we're going to show you how to generate fresh and unique content ideas in no time. So stick around. I'm going to show you my process, and I hope you like it. If you do, like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more great content. Let's get right to it and start writing our article. Here we are in ChatGPT. You can go to chat.openai.com, and I have the AIPRM extension installed for Chrome. You can check that out if you want. If you have that installed, you'll see all these prompts. Now, there are a lot of prompts. I have sorted it by article. You can sort it by topics, so it's up to you, but I did articles, so I got these articles here. You can use any of them. The number one is 1.4 million for this one. I am just going to use a simple one, so let's try this SEO article writer. So if you just click on that, it's going to prepare the prompt. Now, our prompt is going to be the 10 best ways to keep your dog happy. It can be anything. This is just an example, but you should check to see if it's unique. If you put the quotes around it and do a search in Google Chrome or on Google, it's going to tell you how many times that phrase shows up on the web. So you'll know if someone else has already created that article. That doesn't mean you can't create the article, but content is king. Unique content is good as long as it's not so unique that nobody is interested in it. So if I just search for best ways to keep your dog happy, maybe that'll show up. I haven't tested it, but you get the idea. So we're going to copy the best ways to keep your dog happy here in our Word document where we're creating our blog post. Then we're going to go back here. We're going to select the SEO article writer. You can do your own prompt. You can try these others. You can do outlines. Totally up to you. Experiment with it and see what works for you. Then we're going to enter that, and it's going to start writing our article. So as you can see, it's telling you the heading that you should use for your article. So they're recommending a heading 1. Here they're recommending a heading 2. Again, up to you, but it's a good rule of thumb. So here we go. We're writing our article. It's given us 10 ways to keep your dog happy. So when it's done, we're going to put this into our Word document, and I'm going to show you how we can make this content pass AI detection. And I'm also going to show you how we can make this content longer, better. One way, of course, is just write it yourself. Use this as an outline to help with writer's block, things like that. So that's how I would recommend you do it, but how you do it is up to you, of course. So now we have this in here, and what we want is this first part here. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it in our AI detector. So in the AI detector, we're going to find out how AI detectors think of that. So here's the great thing. We got a 54. It's not great. But if you look over here, this part is highly likely to be AI generated. This part is passing. So we got a 54. So there's two ways to deal with it. One, we can just rewrite the whole thing. Or two, we can just focus on the parts that they don't like. Unfortunately, they don't like the part that has 10 best ways to keep your dog happy in it, which is kind of an important part. Now, we can change the first part of this in this article we will explore and try to get that straightened out. But the main idea is to rewrite these parts that aren't scoring well. So we're going to start with that. So here we go. We're going to copy as dog owners, blah, blah. We're going to go to Quillbot. So I have the Quillbot Premium, and I'm going to type this in here. And we can use the creative is probably the second best. And as you can see, it has rewritten that, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to come back over here, and we're going to replace as dog owners, blah, blah, blah. So get that part, replace it, and then we're going to check it again. We went from a 54 to a 53, so it's even worse. So let's try that again. Rephrase it. Now always make sure this is making sense. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, so you're not helping yourself. So we're going to replace that again. Now we've gone to 55. So it's not working out very good. So what we're going to do is try short. This is the one that I have found really works the best. So we're going to copy that one. Dog owners are responsible for their well-being. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's try it again. We must keep our dogs. Yes, better. Now we're going to replace that again. And what we're working on is this little bit here. Let's see what we got this time. And it worked. And you saw our score immediately skyrocketed. So let's go for the next part. Keeping your dog happy. And that's here. So let's go back here. And we're going to try to use the creative because it doesn't cut the text down as much. But if it doesn't work, we may have to go somewhere else, back to the shorten. So ensure your dog's contentment. It's not enough to merely meet their basic needs like food and shelter. That sounds pretty good. So let's replace that part and check it again. And we actually went down. Wow. But it's not showing over here a flag on that. So let's move on. Now we're going to try to get that last little bit. We're going to hopefully keep this part the same. So we're going to try fluency because we really don't want to change that. So let's see what fluency gives us. Yeah, it did change it. Let's try one more time. That's not too bad. Even though it's not exact, it's not too bad. So let's try it and see what the AI detector thinks about it. Yeah, the AI detector says no. Now we can always go to shorten and try to work in our key phrase somewhere else. So let's try that. Top 10. Here are the top 10 techniques to make your dog happy. Check for AI. And it's just giving it a yellow flag. Let's try this. We're going to cut that out. We're going to test it again. See what we got. Now, it's really not liking it. Now, as you can see, this can be a long process. So we're going to go back, copy this, go back to the detector, or not detector, to Quillbot, because we've already tested this in the detector. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this using creative and see what kind of a score we can get. Sometimes this goes better than other times, but you can see we immediately got a much higher score. So that part is good. I'm going to try to put these two sentences together because it's flagging them both. And then we're going to copy that, get creative again. So it's like we have double creative on it, and check it again. And it actually went down. So let's back that back out. And try again. So now it's flagging all of this all the way to owner. So let's see if we can rewrite that section. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And we'll try it again. Yeah. So as you can see, this can be a little frustrating at times. It's actually, this is one of the harder ones I've seen. So it's quite interesting. I'm going to go back here to ChatGPT. And what I'm going to do is ask ChatGPT to rewrite this text. Now, I could start a new chat, but this conversation is related. So we're going to see what we get. Now, if it makes it approximately the same length, we're just going to test it back in the AI content to see how that looks. But we may ask for a little more text. So let's go back to ChatGPT. I have found it often ignores these prompts when you're rewriting text, but let's see what it does. If it gets too long, we'll just cut off the first couple of paragraphs. So I'll show you the meaning behind making this a little bit longer in just 1 second. And it worked. So we got 2 paragraphs now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here. Well, let's go ahead and test it to see what the score is. So 49, you see we got a lot of flags here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and shorten this. That's why I wanted more text. So let's go in and click shorten. So we've reduced the words, not quite half, but almost. Dogs have been man's best friend. That's one of the good things about Quillbot. You can just click here and change that. So looking pretty good. I'm not going too detailed here, but now let's see what we got. And we can run that together and have one large paragraph and see what the AI detector thinks of it. We're up to 64. So let's get rid of that. Take this down here. So responsible dog owners. That's the part we're going to shorten again. And shorten. Now let's see what we got. They still didn't like the rewrite, so we're going to rephrase it again. And again. And let's try creative. We're just getting pretty much the same thing each time. That sounds good. So let's see what we get now. Wow, there we go. Now it's just this last little bit. Let's get rid of that and just see what they think of it there. And there you go. 90 is really good. So what you can do is this should be something that goes like above the next paragraph because it's like introducing into the article. But as you can see, you can work with this by going back and forth to rewrite the articles to pass the AI detection. You could rewrite this part if you wanted. It's not really necessary, but as you can see, we got that down pretty good. Now, I want to try again here because that was pretty embarrassing, to be honest. I usually have a lot more luck, but I'm not the AI detector, so we're going to try the second one. We're going to check for AI content from this second paragraph, see what we get. 13%. That is horrible. So let's go into Quillbot. We're going to start with creative. I usually start with creative because you can at times get really good results. We only got up to 50. Let's try it again. A lot of people must be busy working on this stuff today. It's slow. All right, let's try it again. And it's not like in that first part. So we're going to try to rewrite this first part. Maybe we'll try fluency. Check it again. And there you go. That's pretty good. 79 is a very decent score. A lot of people are aiming for a 90 and 100. I don't think that's reasonable because, as I mentioned earlier, there's no way that Google can tell everything, especially when it's rewritten. I'm going to try something here just for the heck of it and see what I get on a related website. So this is from a dog site, and we're just going to check it real quick. And it got 100, so that's impressive. Let's try it again. It varies a lot. Sometimes it scores really well, as you can see this one, and sometimes it doesn't. But this site is scoring quite well. 100 on every one. I'm starting to think this is AI for sure. I don't know how every one of them can score 100. Yeah, that's very suspicious. Let's try another one. This is from akc.org. So that's the like #1 dog breed site. So let's see what they get. And again, 100. Well, maybe we should be aiming a little higher. There you go. It doesn't always score really high. There's probably more chance of it scoring high when you're using, when humans are writing it. Just makes sense. But oh, there you go. We're down to 63 on that one. So yeah, it's not always 100. Some of these are not going to score good, and as you can see, some of them will. So my thought is you don't have to go for a 90 or 100 on every one of them, but you should be writing your own content and using this as a gauge to help you when you are using AI. So something to think about. That's all we're going to do today, but I hope you found this interesting. I wish it would have worked out a little bit better, but I'm lazy. I don't want to remake this video, but I hope you get the idea. And the idea is, as I'll go back here, find one of these that's not scoring too great. Well, those all did. Let me go back to my article, get a little bit here, and show you one last time that the goal is to use this to try to tease out the parts that it doesn't like. Now, it doesn't like these, so we can go in and ask it to rewrite again. We're going to get a, it remembers, ChatGPT remembers our conversation, so it knows 2 paragraphs is what we want. And we got much more text than we had. So we're going to go back in here. We're going to ask it to shorten that up. And it should be on topic, and that's good. And we're going to go back in here, and we're going to see what kind of score we get. And there you go. Wow, I finally got one to work. So we got 100 score. What you want to make sure, though, is does it make sense? Is it on topic? Is it useful information? Sometimes you're going to want to rewrite it, make it your own. But let's try that one more time since I finally got lucky. We're going to copy one more. We're going to go in, see what they think of it. Now that's not too bad straight out of the box, but we're going to go ahead and rewrite it again just for the fun of it. And let's see what kind of score we can get by rewriting it. Copy it. See what the rewritten version scores. It's not too much worse. Now we're going to shorten it. Again, we want to read it. Does it make sense? Go back to the detector. So we had 64. We're shortening the words here, or the sentences, and there you go, 96. So as you can see, sometimes it works a lot better than others. So don't get too frustrated. What we probably should have done, and let's try that. What we probably should have done is when we had so much trouble with this, what I often do is I just go ahead and just rewrite it because it just gets frustrating and it's just not working out. So let's try that. Rewrite. And it's going to make it longer, and then we're going to make it shorter. Or we can use creativity or whatever we want. Sometimes fluency works good. I forgot. I found that ChatGPT 4 doesn't forget as easy, but there are limits on ChatGPT 4. They only allow 25 queries for 3 hours. And because I use it a lot, I don't want to use my 25 queries because for the purposes of this article, it's not going to make a lot of difference. Get rid of that conclusion and let's see what we get here. So as you can see, that is a woeful score. Let's take it into Quillbot. I'm going to paraphrase that, shorten it. And let's see what it looks like now. And there you go again. So instead of all that frustration of trying to fix what was obviously horribly broken, sometimes it's just not working good. And you just got to go back to the drawing board. Now, what you want to remember again is we want a specific phrase, the 10 best ways to keep your dog happy. Now, they put it here, not at the front, and most people recommend it's in the first sentence. I think in the first paragraph is good enough. The last words of the first paragraph, maybe not, but I can tell you for my blog posts, I like to vary it up. So I'll write a post and I'll highly SEO optimize it, stick to all the rules basically, and put it in the front and all that kind of stuff. But I won't do it in every blog post. Some posts I intentionally weaken my SEO just a little bit. So everything on the website doesn't look too over optimized. I don't think that's a good strategy with Google. Now, I could be wrong, but I just don't think that's a good strategy. I think it's not human. It looks like in the algorithms that you're just highly optimized on every page. So just a thought, throwing it out there. It's up to you, but we can go in here as dog owners. We must keep our animal friends happy and healthy because they provide us with much joy. And these in and the 10 best ways to keep your dog. This article on the 10 best ways to keep your dog happy may help. So let's see what they think of my little rewrite there. Huh? Took it down. So that just goes to show you, doesn't always work. But we do need to get that in there. So let's try getting rid of and this article. And the 10 best ways to keep your dog happy may help. So understanding the 10 best ways to keep your dog happy may help. And there you go. So sometimes you got to tweak it a little bit, but a 94 score, that's pretty awesome. All right, that's all for today. Again, it's a personal thing. You have to understand your own workflow and how you want to write your articles. I don't like to use this 100%. I prefer to have ChatGPT do article outlines. So maybe I should show you that before I quit. And there are prompts already available that will create these outlines for you. But let's just go ahead and start with a new chat and say, write me an article outline for this topic. Let's see what it gives us. It gives us nothing. So there you go. So this can really help with writer's block. And I actually meant to show this. The video here is getting a little long. Maybe you're getting bored, but for anyone who's staying, yeah, this could be really good. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So if you choose to use ChatGPT to write your whole article, which again, I recommend you don't, but if you do, I'm going to close this all out. I'm going to put that we just copied in here, and here's how it's going to work. You're going to write an introduction. So what is an introduction? It's this. We're going to go back to ChatGPT and we're going to say, write me an article intro for 10 best ways. I recommend while you're doing this, keep it in the same conversation because ChatGPT understands the conversation. If you go to a different conversation, it's not going to remember everything and you may lose your focus. Your article may lose its focus, I should say. So let's see what this ranks here or how it does with AI detection. So as you can see, not great, but we can go in here and we can do the creative, see what we get, and try it again. And there you go. So now we have a pretty decent opening. We can tweak these if we want, try to get a little higher score. Let's just shorten that one because it's a pretty long opening. So we can afford to cut out some of the fat, so to speak. Let's go in there and place that. See if we can get it down a little more. Actually made it worse. Well, isn't that great? Try it again. See if we got it any better. So don't know how that got worse. So we want this last little bit here. And if we didn't even need that, we could probably see what it thinks of it without it. There you go. Really good score. And that's a decent opening paragraph, but let's just tweak it and see if we can get it back in there. We're going to shorten that. We're going to drop it back in there. There you go. So again, it's up to you, but now we can go in there and we can get this and we're going to put it back into our article right here, introduction. And there you go. Now we're writing our article. And we're just going to do the same thing. Explanation of the importance of keeping a dog happy. So we click on that, importance of keeping a dog happy. and we ask it to write something about keeping a dog happy. And as you can see, it understands what we want. And if you did this for the entirety of this article, you are going to get a massive amount of text. You may or may not need that. You may want to refine this article. It's like each one of these could be an article. Spend quality time with your dog. That could be an article in itself. So this could be one large article, and you could just try to keep everything nice and short, or it could be broken down into many articles. So let's see what we got here. You see we got 3 paragraphs out of that. Let's look and see what the detector thinks of our 3 paragraphs. 29%, lots of flags. I haven't showed you fluency and standard, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I found they don't work nearly as good as creative, and shorten is the best. Well, let's just see what standard does. Always depends on the content. Sometimes it's like really good, and it's like, wow, that's good. That just really works, but for whatever reason, depends on the paragraph. It doesn't always work. I like fluency because if you read this and then you read the rewrite, the rephrase, fluency usually sounds really good, and sometimes it's better than the original. Very fluent, shocking, right? But not always. And there you go. It actually did halfway decent. It's not that bad. Let's try fluency one more time to see if it can do a little bit better. As I said, sometimes it does good. Sometimes it does a good job of also of rewriting it. Right back down. We'll just go through and show you creative again. So we got pretty good score there for a second with the fluency. Creative is a hit and miss. It seems it's either like really good or really bad. So let's see what we get this time. See, 52. Let's give it one more shot. Come on, creative. You can do better. One more shot, creative. Still not doing great, but I bet shorten will. And that's why it's nice to get a few paragraphs, because then you can shorten it. And it also gives you the ability to delete some of it if it's really kind of extraneous. It's not really necessary. So it's like, can we get rid of this last little bit? Probably. Is this kind of a generic statement right here? Yeah, kind of is. So let's just keep that part and see what it thinks, and see it's 100. Now let's read it. Dog owners should prioritize pet happiness. Happy dogs are fun and good for their health. That's not so great. So as you can see, it doesn't always do good. Anxiety, aggression, and destructive behavior are less prevalent in happy dogs. That's good. Owners benefit from happy dogs too. Happy dogs are more obedient, affectionate, and playful, which can improve your bond. It also makes responsible dog ownership rewarding. Keeping your dog happy is essential. So this one, not good. Let's get rid of that, see what the score is now. And this makes sense. It's not too bad. You could rewrite it, but you see, perfect score. All right, I'm really leaving this time. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. I know it's very long. It's very rambling. I hit and miss a lot. Sometimes I do better. Unfortunately, sometimes the rewriting and the AI detection evasion is very difficult. So hope you have good luck with yours and have a good day.